welcome to this video where we will be discussing how youth sports affect mental health. So stay tuned as we delve in to that. All right, so talking about mental health for young people and sports' role in that, we want to be looking at how that can actually improve mental health or how it helps mental health. We also want to look at the flip side of the coin, and that's the dangers of it, the strategies for making sure we do it the right way, and then the role that parents and coaches would play in making sure that comes about. Those four things and more, that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. From a mental health standpoint, there's many things that being part of a team does. One, it gets you out there being active. And activity and exercise and regular exercise helps your mental health. There's lots of data about what that does for the brain chemistry and how that improves your ability to deal with stress and eliminate the impacts of anxiety and depression. So getting out there, being active, competing has those exercise kind of aspects that come through from athleticism and competition. Also being part of an organization, a team, a group helps you belong. And belonging is a very, very powerful builder of the emotions that keep you stable, right? It also teaches emotional regulation. And I don't mean, when I say that, I don't mean just the belonging, but that does too, right? When you are developing those relationships can help you manage your emotions. But learning to compete in a healthy way helps you manage with those emotions, including especially the emotions of stress that can come from competition and the emotion of failing, which does happen whenever you're competing and you, quote, lose, right? You're learning those life lessons. All of those aspects of that are in the very nature of sports help young people begin to learn how to deal with life and deal with life in a way that helps their mental health long term when you're engaged in athletics. Now, the flip side of this coin about all the benefits is the dangers. So, everything that is a benefit has a potential to be a danger. And that seems to be true with just about everything that we go through life, right? So, as kids aren't finding success, might not fit in because maybe they aren't quite as good, those negative impacts can have on their self-image, how they carry themselves, the beliefs that they had that's going to drive their mindset. All those things can end up being a detriment. So the very reason we want to get them involved in sports can actually spiral things down. So a good coaching, good parenting are going to recognize those danger aspects and do everything in their power to try to counterbalance those and reframe those situations. And again, when we understand that youth sports and how much we can grow through failure is really, really powerful and really important. And kids who might not be naturally athletic can still have a lot to learn about competing in sports and develop some of those skills and ideas. And maybe parents realize that, all right, this particular sports is really difficult. We're going to see it through this year, but maybe next year I sign them up for something different. And there's some sports that are really good for all the exercise, all those things, but are also very individualistic, where kids are really learning to compete against themselves. And again, with good coaching, that can really bring it out. And that I'm thinking about the track and field and the running sports, where you are really like, this is my time. Okay, I'm going to get better. I'm going to develop that. But yet, the kids who are all competing are also working for a common outcome. So those are things that you can begin to look at to counter some of the negatives that can come from some of the team sports, depending on the natural athleticism of your child. There was a time when sadly kids who had challenges, physical, emotional, mental challenges, were excluded and couldn't really participate. And when they did, sadly, things didn't always go so well. And that's one of the reasons, actually, fabulous programs such as Special Olympics, Unified Leagues, and the Little League Challenger program came in to give kids the same opportunities because the impact that these opportunities can have on their mental health. This family that we came close to as the older brother and younger brother, the same ages as my oldest son and my youngest son. There's actually I think I've said this before, there's a group of them, four older brothers, four younger brothers, all friends from elementary school. Well, one of these families had older, the two boys had an older sister with Down syndrome. And we were all involved in baseball, and the Little League Challenger program became this program that not only did the boys help volunteer at, but their sister, she got involved in, and it was her favorite thing to do. She loved the Challenger League. They would go and they'd have their games, they would compete, and all these kids who had these mental, emotional, physical challenges were able to belong to a group or an organization where they were getting all those benefits. And the fact that it meant so much to her helped her emotionally, spiritually on a level that's hard for us to really fathom. But that's the power that youth sports can have and should have at all kinds of different levels. And when we can think about those lessons from those leagues, we can bring those into the regular leagues and the regular youth basketball and football leagues, etc. We really want youth sports to do what they're designed to do. We need to get back on the same page, parents and coaches and the organizational leaders, the structures, about focusing on one, the camaraderie, right? The belonging, the teamwork, the socialization aspect of sports, learning to compete healthily, right? The exercise, the physical activity, all that, making sure people feel like they belong, but understanding that we learn as much through our failures and our challenges. It's like this little boy that I know I told a story in one of these other videos who, when I was coaching baseball, he had a club hand, really bad limp. When he finally, in this baseball, hit the ball and was able to get to first base, the celebration, not just that he had, his teammates for him. That's what it's all about. That's that kind of development that we need to be focusing on. And it's not about winning, it's about learning to win, striving to win. That means focusing on getting better, focusing on your immediate goal and outcome. Those focuses begin to kind of redefine winning and changes the whole culture and nature. And parents need to understand that too, because parents can be the biggest problem. Several years ago now, made national news, CBS News, when a big fist fight broke out in the stands between two fathers at a youth hockey event, right? As they're fighting over, I don't even remember what, but the tournament and the game had to be canceled. Police came, atrocious behavior from the adults at a youth hockey event. That sort of thing should never happen, right? And it begins with us as the adults to really make sure we're all getting on the same page and we take care of our priorities. And I had the experience of having to kind of deal with some bad vocal parents. And it's not always easy, but to kind of say, you know what, you're going to need to leave. If you can't, we'll have to call the authorities, but this is not okay what you're doing. And if the organization is behind you, it makes it a lot easier. Well, as we wrap up this video, I want to encourage you to tell us your stories. Comment down there as you watch this. What are some of your experiences positive and maybe some of those dangers from that. Experiences of seeing some maybe not so good parents. Share some of those lessons that we learned. Get engaged and come back and watch some of our others and subscribe to my channel.